you making out, James?
Got it.
Good.
First try.
Nice. We'll see if you got it, if it actually comes out
Right.
later on.
Mike will tell me tomorrow.
Yeah.
4 or 5 old people now.
Any adjustments to the agenda?
Nope.
Good. All right.
Other
That
than
was
what we
pretty-
had sent to
pretty-
us today, right?
Pretty fresh agenda anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was
that-
very fresh today, and she just did the printout for expenditures and I passed those out.
Okay.
I've got a print sheet for you later.
Approval of the minutes from August 6th.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented to us?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Any public comment at this time?
I think first day went great. I know we only had grade 7 and 9, but the kids seemed happy and excited to be here. And so I think went well. I mean, schedules are always a fun thing to mix, and we've got the 2 weeks of ad drop, but so far, guidance has been right on top of it. I think Janice is doing a great job. You know, I think day 1 went well.
I don't know if this is the time to say, but I'd like to thank Craig for the work that, that he did. I was at the elementary school, was it a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and I thought, this place isn't gonna open. And I don't know, and it's, I know it's because of Craig, I'm sure the others too, but thank you, Craig.
Well, thank you. Luke and Tammy Cotton, you guys understand, those guys do a huge amount of work, and they go in there on weekends, they go in late, try to help work around the staff, and Mandy can speak up for them, too. Those guys done a fantastic job. Mandy's been a big help over there too, she really has, so.
Well,
coming
thank you to
together pretty
all
good.
that have put the work into it to make it so that we could open today.
Yeah, it really looks nice, with a lot of, Mandy will probably say, but I was there 3 different times, a lot of positive comments when they walk in to see the freshly paint, and those new lights make a world of difference over there, a world of difference.
And it's just lit right up. And Jamie and I were out there the other day, and it was just a breath of fresh air. I mean, with all the big windows now, everything just is not dark and gloomy anymore out there. So
Really
it's,
nice, yeah.
it's quite a change. Yeah, nice, very nice.
Next project is the fence.
I heard that. Actually,
After
What
the
he said,
playground.
yes.
Next
That's on
project
its
is the
way.
fence,
Under-
because
you're
on
right,
its
that's,
way.
so that's coming, so we can
I
cross
can
that
tell
one
you
off.
right now, I had someone make a comment to me about 3 weeks ago, and they says, you know, I know all the work that you're putting into the school, but with that fence here, that looks like a jail. And I never gave it a thought till at that point, that
I've got,
8 foot,
I've
6,
got a
8
plan
foot
for
high
that,
fence,
but
you know,
it'll
it's
probably
like,
be in the next budget cycle. I wanna thank Mandy and Craig too, and I mean, 3 weeks ago, you're right, I was running around chasing the window people who had a tendency not to show up until 10 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and I thought at that point in time, shelves were out, heating systems were sitting in the middle of the room, I'm going, no way. What am I gonna do with them when they show up on the 3rd? What am I gonna do? And can I split the high school into 2 sessions and bring the elementary in for part of the day? I was really concerned. Everything came together unbelievably well. I couldn't have planned it worse.
Yeah, right.
And I'd throw one more thing out there as far as the construction, including over here with the intercom system. I know that your guys, but that crew from Board Electric, I'm telling you, they worked as hard as anybody I've ever been around, up in the attic when it's 100 degrees, running Cat 5 cable. Amazing what those guys did, and they're spot on, easy to work with. Would you agree, Mandy?
Oh,
They
yeah.
have been fantastic
Absolutely.
to work with, they
Yeah.
really have, so
Yeah.
shout out to them.
Just about every company, even though, you know, the coastal glass
Thank
was
you.
there late, they worked late all the time. The minute they had the glass, they were there. Mechanical services has been great. Every company, just about every company was really great to work with. So we were very lucky, you know, and the kids were there all summer long with the rec, and there was not a worry. All the workers were happy, smiling, you know, said hi to the kids. It was great. It was a good experience.
Awesome.
Can't wait for
It
the
really was. Things went very, very well,
Yeah.
and we're ready to move on to the next jobs.
Cafeteria,
It's coming real quick.
real quick. And that looks amazing across the street. Wow.
I'm telling you, it's been
Yeah.
a busy summer.
Yeah.
It's nice to see those things.
Gonna
thank the town for that one.
Gonna
Yeah,
have
that
light,
looks
gonna have
good.
lights there soon too.
Yeah, yeah, looks
Glad
good. Oh,
to see the
yeah.
pickleball there. Glad to see the pickleball.
They're over there right now playing.
Right, I know, I'd love to see it.
It's a big thing now.
They were squeegeeing it there the other.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you all. Very good comments.
32 teams over.
Principals reports. Who would like to go first today?
I didn't pass that on. I can go first because I've already been talking.
You're on a roll.
That was how I was gonna start my report, is that, you know, just how well everything went this summer, and just to give you an update on the playground. Everything has been ordered and will be installed when it arrives. Eddie Hansen is on call for it to come in. We did put new sand and we bought a bunch of new toys to play for the younger kids, in the sandbox, so that worked, they had a lot of fun with that today. Moving on, for the music substitute, you may have heard our music teacher Christine Sautel is having a baby. That's number 5 of 5 at school. So she's gonna be on maternity leave during the holiday season. And we do have another music teacher, Beth Goodliffe, but it would be impossible for her to cover everything that Christine does. I mean, obviously we have 2 music teachers for a reason. She is willing to do the chorus and band regular concert, the Christmas concert, that we have December 11th. So we could do that as scheduled. Christine would get her students ready. She plans on leaving sometime in October. So I have contacted the Children's Stage Adventure to see if they would come to our school. They've been involved with our school before. They come and they work with the whole school for a week to put on a performance. And when I talked to them, they have these 2 weeks open, the December 2nd through the 7th, or January 13th through the 18th. It is costly to have them come, but there are some grants available. When you think about hiring a sub, this could potentially be in place of a sub, for a little while, either a week or 2. So it could end
It's
up
a lot
breaking
of money for
even.
1 week though. If you,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's worth it. And like I said, I am in the process of looking for grants. Alexander's paying, they're coming for a week to Alexander, and they're paying with a grant, so I will be looking into that to see what I can come up with.
And the experience the kids would get from it
Right.
too, working on I mean, it's,
I had them come in at another school that I was at, Community loved it,
Yeah.
so.
Mandy, is that the one that came before? Like
Yeah.
when-
Yeah, they
when
came
I was in
maybe 5
elementary
years
school?
ago or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
Sadie and Brooke were probably
Brooke-
involved,
Brooke-
Maya,
Brooke was-
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sam
Brooke, yeah.
Perkins was the main lead, yeah.
yeah,
Yep, that was just, so that's an option, because we are not gonna be able to have the holiday show for the younger kids. I have talked to pre-K, they're willing to put something on, but it would just be classroom teachers, and they're not music teachers, they're not, you know, so, this is another opportunity that we have. So we can think on it, I mean, we don't have to make that decision right now, and maybe next meeting that we have, if I can look into grants, I can bring that back to you.
Try King Foundation. Do a
The
quick.
Stephen King. Yeah, okay.
those are things that they.
We had our first staff meeting today on the first day of school, and we did talk about our evaluation system. It's the same thing that I did last year. I have 5 points of contact. Obviously, I have more than that. I mean, I go into the classrooms almost on a daily basis, but 5 formal points of contacts with staff. With the new staff, it's 2 formal observations, 3 walkthroughs. Other staff, it's 1 formal observation, 4 walkthroughs, and then staff who was already evaluated with it, we have a 3-year process. They just have the 5 walkthroughs, and like I wrote, it's dependent on their years of service and their previous evaluations. They have to submit 2 student learning objectives, and all that is they pick a standard, assess the students to see where they're at, and then make a goal of where they think the student should reach at the end of their instruction, and then reassess them, and if they met their goal, then we move forward. If not, we look at the instruction and what we can do to make improvements. So teachers have to submit 2 of those, and then growth plans. We have a 23-element program where they can pick out of 23 elements. We're working on 1 as a school, and that's offering feedback to students for their growth, and then teachers can pick their own. So they have to submit their growth plan to me by December 1st, and when I go in and observe, I look for, are they doing what they said they were gonna grow on throughout the school year? All of this information is provided to the teachers through Google Classroom. I have a Google Classroom where I keep like all my staff meetings and notes that I would want staff to look at, and then iObservation as well, which is a program that we pay for to keep all of that. So if you have any questions on the evaluation system, I'm willing to answer them. Moving on to the number of students per grade level, I just broke it down by grade. Grade 1 is the only class right now that has 2 classes, and they're 25, so it's 13 and 12.
What are the numbers with pre-K when they have to divide into 2 teachers? Is there numbers?
16, it's supposed to be 16. And actually, one of the pre-K students is moving up to kindergarten tomorrow, and then we're gonna have 1 in early K.
So you're gonna be at 16?
No, I'm gonna be at 17 tomorrow.
So what does early?
So only one is going up to kindergarten, the other one's staying in pre-K as an early K student, which means
Okay.
they did pre-K 2 times.
Okay,
Oh.
I wondered what that meant.
So K will have 14 students and pre-K will have 17. So that makes a total of 141 students at our school, which I was really surprised by, but we had a class of 30 in grade 6 and they came up, so that's why we have a decrease in
Now
that.
we have a 30 in grade 7.
Oh, really?
They're back up.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. That's the class that, yeah. That's it.
Okay, thank you. How the phone system's working?
Oh, how's the phone system working? Great.
Is it
We can
good?
call class to class. I'm very excited to have the intercom working on
Sure.
that phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one's really muffled, so. But it
Yeah, I
works
think-
excellent,
I think they're just waiting for commissioning, pretty much.
and I believe
There
it's
are-
coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. We have a
And,
couple
And
more
you do have
speakers.
you have 2 bullhorns in the gym and then 2 outside ones.
Excellent. Have they been installed?
They haven't arrived yet.
Yeah, okay.
So
I knew
they
that
haven't
we were
installed.
waiting on some.
I wasn't responsible for ordering the material, so as soon as they come in, I'll put them in, so.
Good.
But everything else, do you have any duress buttons, or do they just go to the high school?
No.
I know I'm waiting for some duress buttons too, and I know we roughed some in at the high school, but I'm not sure.
I believe, actually, yes. I have one and Kathy's gonna
Okay,
have one.
so
Yeah.
you haven't, I don't think you have your duress buttons installed.
Okay, no.
I don't think, you're wrong, I don't think the high school are in yet.
No.
At least they aren't in my office.
No,
but I know,
they aren't.
I
And
know
you
that
have
was
2 bullhorns going in the gym that haven't arrived. There's 6 bullhorns total that they haven't got to me yet.
Okay.
And 2 of the high school, 2 in the gym, 2 in the gym at the elementary, and 2 outside
Yeah.
at the elementary.
Perfect.
And whatever how many duress buttons are, I think there were like 4 maybe in
4,
the
I
high
would
school.
Yeah, 5.
5, okay, yeah, and then a couple at the elementary school.
Yep.
But, and there's no reason why the rest of that system can't be programmed. You have 90% of your speakers in,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, no, the phones work really well.
Good.
They were asking in the staff meeting tonight why they can't have all call in their rooms because they thought it'd be really fun, and I'm like, that's why we don't
Yeah.
have it in your rooms, because it would be too much fun. But it works, it's so much easier to call the teacher, instead of walking all the way down the hall to tell them there's a finish switch and lunch or whatever. It's
And
great.
you still have that privacy and,
Yep.
right. Good,
Stepped into the future.
yes, finally, huh?
Just took a while to get there.
Actually, that's probably the 90s or something.
Yeah, probably.
Dan,
Yeah, so day 1 went great. I tried to tell Jamie when he was in, I got pulled into something else, so
Excuse me.
apologize for that. Day 1 did go very well. We had 7th and 9th graders up. A little bit of confusion getting people from place to place, but we knew that was coming, so
that's why you do it.
Hey, staff was they were all out in the hallways. I had a lot of teachers leading kids personally down to places they need to be, so everybody pitched in. It was good.
I watched it, yeah.
There was approximately 0 crying, so that was a good thing.
That's good.
Everybody in tomorrow, of course, it'll be a little bit more chaotic, but we're prepared for that and looking forward to it. I also want to butter up Mr. Croman by saying thank you for all the work that you've done. And I mean, as much as he's put in over there, if you look at this building and look at how spick and span it is, that doesn't happen without some effort as well, and quite a lot of effort actually. So to do that and this is impressive to me.
Carlton, what do you think of all this buttering up with
Well, you're gonna have to go up.
Well, I think he needs to record all this buttering up there for next June when it comes evaluation time.
That's right, that's right.
Remind everybody.
We have short memories, right?
I see him over there jabbing you.
I did wanna put out, I mean, I put it down as incidental, it's certainly not incidental, but graduation rate for us was 100% last year.
That was unbelievable.
You know, we're gonna work towards that again. We may not get there, but the intention is to put in the same amount of effort we did last year. Participation in athletics, I know it's always kind of a point of contention, but I did break out some numbers on that. With the new policy that we put in there, I just wanted to put out that we did have increased participation, but every athlete that went on academic probation came off academic probation by the end of the same season, which means that all of them passed.
Wow.
So,
That's
great.
excellent.
while nothing's perfect, policy is not perfect, and I get it, there's a lot of interest in that. I think that at least it accomplished what it was intended to do, and we'll keep looking at that ways to impress, but to be able to say that we had, all athletes passing by the end, not just the end of the year, but the end of the same sports season, I think is a good thing. Ad drop is going on the first 2 weeks of school. We had some kids in today that they were either they enrolled with us late or may not have gotten their schedules or lost their schedules or all kinds of stuff. Janice is doing a great job keeping things up with getting kids into the classes that they need. We've had some requests, could I change into this class because my buddy's over there. We're trying to steer away from that a little bit. She's focused on the classes that they need in order to graduate or stay on track to graduate. We accommodate what we can, but that's kind of the viewpoint we're kind of sticking to. New teachers are settling in. As you know, we got Jillian Jacobs came in for Janice Rice. We got Shauna McDonough in for math. And Maria Ruiz Hadar, she's just telling kids, call me Miss Ruiz. And I think everything's going well with them. I checked in with all teachers a couple of times today. Do you guys need anything? No, we're all good to go. So things are going well with the staff here.
He's gonna do a great job.
Yeah. New students keep coming. We got a whole, how many new we get over the summer? Probably 10?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple, 2 or 3 come in the last few days looking to enroll, so the enrollment report doesn't obviously project those few that are on their way in, but I think if we're not at 200, we're now slightly over, so they're coming out of the woodwork.
Is that some tuition students and some in-town students? Or?
We had a high school student come in looking to enroll, came out of Sumner.
Let's go to commute.
Yeah, I think mom's moving them, but they're coming in for there's no rhyme or reason to it, just everybody has different reasons.
Right.
They might want a break from another high school they were attending and want to come over here, so.
My understanding is that we're somewhere around 8 students coming in from the township, different than previous. Obviously, there are about 22 from Princeton, 4 or 5 from Alexander, 1 from Pembroke, UT, I think there are 2.
Got
Some
one
of
from
those,
East Range too, I
yeah,
think.
East Range. Some of those, I think there's 2 from East Range.
Yeah, you're right.
And some of those were not included in our budget when we
Great.
set it up, so, looking forward to hopefully having some additional revenue that was unintended revenue that'll help us going forward.
We received a phone call this afternoon that I put up to Michelle at about lunchtime, and I believe it was another student from Township that mom called and wanted to have all the paperwork faxed to her so she could register as well, so that will make
So
money
that's
from there.
an
Nice.
interesting change, from previous history.
It's our 100% graduation rate.
That's good.
It doesn't matter.
That doesn't hurt, and a lot of the other things that are happening
A lot
along
of good things.
the goodwill, I think,
Yes.
over the last couple of years, we've been able to change things around significantly.
I'm only getting slightly higher amounts of heckling for me trying to sell the sports, the basketball team at Class D than I was before, so the principals are giving me a hard time about it now, but that's all right. So just a couple more things. So our sub list is exhausted because we've had a number of folks come up to be ed techs with one-to-ones and all kinds of stuff, and that's fine. I have some meetings coming up with intern coordinators for WCCC and also UMaine Machias. I'm kind of hoping that we can kind of, their students need field experience, we need subs. So if there's a way to have an arrangement there, and I don't know what the feeling is, but if it even gets to the point that we could be a training site for some people, I don't know what folks' thoughts are on that, but
Great idea.
at the very least, hopefully if we can strike an agreement, we can get them some sub days and maybe some sub pay, and they got some field experience to do, and,
Works good for both sides.
yeah,
It's
so.
a win-win.
I'll keep you posted about that. Expanding options for concurrent enrollment, I'll cover that a little bit more with the parent committee meeting, but Jamie, you and I were just talking about, maybe an opportunity to get some kids up and, get some experience working with you in the garage. So things like that, we're looking to expand a little bit more for semester 2. We're working with the teachers this year. I mean, everybody has their curriculum, they know what it is to teach. We're just looking for a place that we can kind of collect it into one spot. Some of the returning and veteran teachers, they have all their stuff in a binder. In previous years, we kind of had to beg, borrow, and steal some curriculum points. So now the teachers have a chance to kind of customize what they do. They got through last year. We're gonna be tracking the sequence, we're gonna be tracking the standards, and when we have early release on certain days, we have content team meetings and make sure that we're covering all the standards in the places that they're supposed to be. I think we are already, just from what I've seen, but this gives us a chance to make sure. Adding in electives for spring, so I'm gonna try to finagle some of the growth plans and see if there's a way that we could add some of those, maybe 0.5 electives in there. We're gonna see how study halls go. If we have too many kids that are getting maybe a little too bored or too antsy, or if that amount of time shows us that they're getting all their stuff done, we'll add a whole bunch in, we'll add in some more, and they'll have the option. If there's some kids who are struggling with the time, they can still take advantage of the study hall, so, that should be an easy thing to add in. Parent committee, so we got together, we had our first parent committee meeting. Some of the people on it, we had, Tracy Paula was there, Melissa Monk. We have, Allison Wallace, thank you, sorry, I don't know why I keep forgetting names here. We got Amy and Wayne Morrison, we got Tina Erskine, and Charlene and, maybe Denny agreed to be part of the group too, and we had a first meeting, had a lot of good ideas about ways we could kind of add some experiential learning in, even though it might not be a class, it could be some trips to local agencies or things like that I'm pursuing right now, so as those develop, I'll make sure that everybody gets informed. But it was really good, had a lot of good ideas and kind of pointed me in good direction for some things, so, we're gonna be meeting monthly-ish, but basically, or sooner as updates kind of progress, so, really beneficial, everybody enjoyed it, so I think that's gonna be a good thing. The last thing, we were gonna have the Sports Hall of Fame Committee meeting, the last board meeting, some people couldn't attend. Sheridan and Pat, you were on it too, do you have a preference when we might do that next,
We could do it after the next meeting.
after the next meeting? I'll talk to Tom, John Rogers, I don't have the sports calendar in front of me, he should be able to attend if there's not a game somewhere, I think, so.
It's tough, some people that don't come to meetings to know exactly what time that's gonna be, so if it would be better to have it at a specific time.
Yeah.
You know, if we could get a better showing, then
Have it
I'm,
like at 7 or something.
you know, like at 7, right? Let's just shoot for 7 off
Mhm.
next meeting after.
And, I'll get in contact with everybody, make sure that that's a good time too, so.
I mean, and they, what they could do is have them show up at 6, you know, they can show up a little earlier and the meeting gets done before 7, we could start it earlier.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No later than 7 or something like that.
Okay. I'll reach out to everybody, I'll stay in touch through email and see what works.
Okay.
So sorry to be so long-winded, that's it for me.
Thank you. Glad everything's going well.
Yeah.
All right, superintendent's report.
All right. In your packet, I just passed out to you the expenditure report for August. And as I stated before, probably the biggest change is supplies, books, and materials will start to show up in that, in those expenditures. So, with August being the close of the second month, and each month being 8.33, actually 333 and so on, the second month would show 16.67 expenditure and 83.33 remaining. You'll find that true in some. Those accounts that would be beyond that would be salaries and related expenses, depending on what the number of payments have been up to this point. Dues have been paid, insurances have been paid, supplies and books, like I said, you start to see some significant impacts in tuition reimbursement, and those make up the major expenditures, some of which you have to realize, like insurances and fees and dues, are all just single annual payments, and so they'll be beyond. At this point in time, the budget was $5,357,459. Expenditure is $421,107.71, so remaining balance is 4.936,351.29 and 92%. So we're running still in good shape, and as the final bills come in for supplies, materials, that'll drop back down, and as we get to a 3 payroll month, that'll change those amounts as well. Second thing I just wanted to share with you, I sent it out to staff, so I made copies for you too. And I actually, this afternoon, had the office change our calendar for the school for October 1st. October 1st used to be Columbus Day. It is now Indigenous Day. And so I've made that adoption. And these are all of the bills that were passed to the last legislature that impact education. And, you know, the second one down, obviously, is the appropriation. The first year, this year was a $28.6 million addition, and next year will be a 52.8. But of that 52.8, remember that there's a change in the salary base. And so the base salary will be $35,000. What that means is for staff making less than $35,000, they will get a $35,000 contract in reality. The difference from our contract and the $35,000 will be made up by the state. They'll send a separate tuition or a subsidy check for the difference. So we'll have to report out what the cost is to move all of our staff to that minimum base salary, and those people will receive a check, the difference between our salary and the minimum state salary that was accepted by the legislature. And then there are a number of other impacts in there as you go, and obviously, October 1st, name was changed from Columbus Day, so we
Where's
make-
that?
that is, let's see, I just had it, and I shared it with the girls, because we had to be able to spell indigenous. Okay, it would be, I gotta find it.
Right there, it's on the top of page, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, top of page 4.
Yeah, it's LD 179, Chapter 79. Change the name of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples' Day, and that was actually
2, 3, 4.
passed by the legislature, became a law.
Is it a different day?
No, October 1st.
It's not, hold on. It is October
11.
14th.
Oh, okay, 14th.
And what was the-
14th, because
Yeah.
Oh, I was just
Yeah.
wondering,
Yeah.
I was wondering if they give some reasoning why.
No, it was,
I didn't understand
it was to celebrate the
Diversity.
Indians and the diversity. You know, the number of things have changed over time, and that's just one of them that got impacted. And so, to be up to date, I had the ladies make changes on the calendars today and website calendars so that we'd be in compliance.
Yep.
And I
So,
think it
so
speaks
that's a
well.
school day? I mean, is that-
No,
is that still
that's a
holiday?
vacation, it's
It
a
is-
holiday.
It's still a holiday?
It's still a
Holiday for
holiday,
school,
yeah.
yeah.
Just the name of the holidays.
It's
Just the name of the holiday.
State holiday? or
It's a
federal?
state holiday.
Is it just state or federal?
Some states actually
Adopted it.
adopted as a holiday, some states do not.
So it's not federal.
It's not federal.
Okay, well, that's what I was wondering. I was
The
wondering
mail
if it
is
was just-
closed, the post office is closed.
Is it?
So, yeah.
Yes.
Well, then it is federal.
Well, then it is federal.
Well, no, because they're celebrating
Columbus Day is federal.
Okay, but
The
it's not
state
all the
is,
states.
it's not
right.
called Indigenous Day. What the state did, they wanted that changed from Columbus Day to Indigenous
Just the
Day.
state of Maine.
Yeah.
Just the state of Maine,
Right.
but other states
They
had
still
also
call it
adopted that.
Some
Name
still
change.
call it Columbus Day, some
Yes.
states, okay.
Okay. They didn't want the reason.
So there you go.
Okay.
And as I said, I'm very, very pleased with the opening, very pleased with all the work that we've gotten done. Update on construction I'll do under 15.
Thank you very much.
The mail never celebrated
No.
No.
So, number 8 is a resignation.
Okay,
And we'll talk.
Dear AOS 90 Baileyville School Department Administration, after a lot of thought and consideration, I decided to resign my first grade position at Woodland Elementary School for 2019-20, effectively today, and that was August 16th. I retained a position at Calais School Department for the upcoming year. I'd like to express my gratitude for training materials, experience, and all I've learned being employed by Woodland for 3 years. I've enjoyed working with the best staff there is and enjoyed my time with so many great students, especially one being my very own kindergarten class. I wish everyone the best in the upcoming year and will greatly miss everyone, especially students and staff. I would be more than willing to offer support to my replacement. All materials I've graciously given the teacher before me. Sincerely, Amber McIver. Please accept Amber's resignation.
Now, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Was that a short notice?
It was a short notice,
Okay.
and if we were
So what's our
unable to,
policy on that?
if we were unable to find
Replacement?
a replacement, we could have held her
Okay.
Till October?
till October.
Because
45 days.
she never noticed,
45 days.
when she was asked, she did not say that, right? Am I correct?
Right.
And then she just turned around and resigned.
Yeah.
So if we can't find a replacement,
We could hold it.
we can hold it for 45 days.
45 days.
Okay. But it's at no benefit for us to do that?
No, it's really no benefit at all.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept
As if we can't find one.
Amber's resignation?
I'll second it.
John?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay.
And then Melanie Cochran, to whom it may concern, please accept this letter of resignation. I've resigned my job as Ed Tech 3 from Woodland Junior Senior High School. I want to thank you for the opportunity you've given me. I love my job and learned so much from my experience at Woodland High School. It was a pleasure to work at Woodland. I and everyone was so welcoming. I had a good support team and will be forever grateful for the experience I was given. Thank you again, Melanie Cochran. Please accept Melanie's resignation.
Please tell her she has to come back.
I know, gonna miss her.
I'll make a motion to accept her resignation with regret.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
And
We have some appointments.
Two, I'd like to recommend Sierra Crow as the Ed Tech 3 for Woodland High School, replacing Melanie.
Make a motion to accept Sierra Crows as the Ed Tech 3 for Woodland High School.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
And then, on a late note, I'd like to recommend the appointment of Kaylee Johnson as a elementary school teacher at Woodland Elementary School.
Her name is really Kaylee Lurson.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
What was the last part?
Lurson, her name
Lurson?
is Kaylee.
She had just gotten married like.
Oh, she just
Oh,
got
she got
married, that's why,
married.
it was Johnson.
L-U-R-S-O-N. Right?
S-E-N.
S-E-N? S-E-N, I'm sorry.
All right, we'll make that change. Hey, Kelly.
Is she taking the first grade spot?
Yeah,
Yes.
Amber's position. This is the one that I emailed everybody about and
Right.
just asked because, she, is late notice.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept Kaylee Lurson, as the WES teacher.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
And then, I'd like to recommend Katie Erskine as a volunteer cross-country coach.
Make a motion to accept Katie Erskine as the volunteer cross-country
Assist.
club coach, assistant coach?
Assistant coach, yeah.
I'll
club.
second.
So we're a club for 2 years,
Yep.
Jamie,
which is
Moved and s-
awesome.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
we just keep growing, I don't know.
Yeah.
And in your materials, I think back there, you should have a copy of,
Yes, we do.
no, you don't.
No.
I see nothing in here for
Yeah, we
assistant
do.
to the
Yeah,
principal.
yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
in there.
should be there.
It's in there.
I was
I
gonna
don't
say,
got
I was looking at it.
I'm looking at it right
It's
now.
after the handbook. Changes.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing,
None, honey.
Nothing, honey. I got the handbook, but not the eight.
Oh.
I don't have it either, but I think
I
what
get
I
mine,
did is,
I get mine emailed, so
well, I think what I did is I put it with the policies.
Yeah, I
And
got
I
it with
didn't
my
bring the
policies.
policy.
Oh my
So
God,
did we
yeah.
change that to assistant to the principal,
had it.
not assistant principal?
No, it's
No, we
assistant
didn't.
principal.
It will be assistant principal,
Yep.
but
Okay.
it's a new position.
And it means they'll actually have to post it and go through the process as a new position.
Assistant principal meaning it's a part-time job. It's not a,
The old
Correct.
one, assistant to the principal, was a stipended position,
yeah,
which didn't jive well with other responsibilities. So this language turns the assistant principal, well, the assistant to the principal to assistant principal half-time.
And quite honestly, the rationale for the assistant to the principal versus assistant principal was an issue of certification.
Right, qualifications.
And qualifications. We now have folks who have met that qualification and are interested in doing the additional work that's required, and it's a growing additional work. I don't have mine either.
This is just the junior
Just
high
the
school.
junior high school, yes, junior, senior high school. And as we grow in population, hopefully continue to grow in population, the job will become probably bigger in the future.
I don't got it, that's okay.
Would you like me to make a photocopy of it? If you've got yours.
I
can
don't
make
have it
copies.
either. I just went through mine and I've got the
I can
policies
get down and
here
make
too.
some.
Yeah, it didn't come with my packet.
Should
That's all I
have.
have to say. And I don't have mine, and I normally don't, they
Is it
just,
something that we can talk about the next meeting, or is this something that has to be done now?
Oh,
Doesn't need to be done right this minute, no, we can bring it back.
probably, would it be a good
Um,
idea to get it out of the way at this meeting?
I would think so.
Yeah, it
I'm
would be.
thinking it would be.
Yeah, it would be.
I
The policy committee has reviewed it and accepted it. We made a couple of small changes because there was some things that were restated, so we shortened up a little bit. Other than that, I don't think there's anything
Just
significant.
we clarified the role of
And it really-
evaluations,
Yeah,
clarified
and-
that.
Yeah, they're not gonna evaluate staff personnel.
No, he can,
They're interviewing and helping
Right.
selecting, but not.
right, they can input, whoever the candidate is, they can input data, they just, they don't evaluate staff.
So as far as getting the data into our program so that we can actually score staff for SOPs and so on, they'll keep putting in the data, but they're not gonna actually do the on-site evaluation. They will work with, paraprofessionals, but non-professionals.
And I see that you took out administer the expenditure of funds allocated to the high school and its co-curricular program.
Correct, because that's a separate job. Steve was doing the treasury job.
That's a stipend job.
It's a stipend position.
Okay.
It's a stipend position. Holly actually has that. No,
No, Michelle.
Michelle has it, excuse me. Keep everybody straight.
That's okay. We move around
Yeah.
over here.
That's about it.
And that
I'm
was-
okay, 'cause
that
I was
was
part of
the-
the policy committee,
oh.
but I don't know if you guys wanna, it's hard to vote on without.
You wanna look this over?
You want
Oh, he
to-
has it right here.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
So
can
what
make-
you wanna do, this is, looks like to me, this is the
I mean, I
original,
know, yeah, because I already
and
looked at it,
then-
I just wanted to see what,
this is what they took out,
yeah, okay,
so just a few pages.
yeah. We can get
Found
back
it
to
in my
this.
old email.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few minutes.
Yeah.
I need to breathe anyway.
So we could, move on to the next.
We can move on to Holly and let Jamie and John
Look that over.
look that over.
Hi, Holly.
What's this?
So you all have the 8th grade handbooks
I don't know.
in
See,
your
I gotcha.
packets. There was only a couple of things. Last year, I run into a glitch with my 8th graders. Last year was my 5th year being the 8th grade advisor. And last year I had a few students, because the handbook stated that they only had, that they had to participate in 5 meetings and 5 fundraisers, that when they did the first 5 of the year, well, I did my 5, so I don't have to help anymore. Well, when you bring $30 or $50 in as your profit for the raffle tickets you sold, and that's part of your 5 fundraisers, that doesn't pay for a 3-day trip for you to go on. So, this year, and 5 meetings is really hard to get kids and parents on the same page with you when they don't come to meetings.
Mhm.
So, that we do in the evenings. So on page 4 of the handbook, that was a piece that I made an adjustment to, where it says students have to come to 7 meetings, because we do 9, sometimes 10, because of weather in the winter, we might have to do like 2 in a month, or if I have a lot of fundraisers back to back. I usually try to fit in a last one, not to give the kids credit for it, but to just make sure my chaperones and everybody are on the same page before we leave on the trip in May. So I would like to require them to come to 7 meetings, and I put to participate in 75% of the scheduled fundraisers. So if a kid participated in every one, and I made them required, there would be 20 each kid would have to do. So 75% would be 15. That includes, out of volleyball season, when they do the concession stand, for them to do 2 concession stands. So if there's 8 volleyball games or 10 volleyball games, they have to do 2. Basketball season, they have to do 3, because there's typically 8 to 10 basketball games. So I require, and it is hard because the boys and girls play. However, when the girls are playing, the boys can be out with me in the concession stand, and vice versa, because, well, they're here. And I know that they like to watch their friends, however, they like to go on a trip as well. And it's not supposed to be up to me to work the concession stand for them. I also do accommodate that, because I understand with kids and parents, things happen. So, I do step in when it is needed, because, well, I'm a parent too, so I get that life throws you curveballs every now and then. The other piece that I've added, is that the principal and superintendent will approve all chaperones for the trip, and that the advisor, whoever that may be, me or whoever in the future, will present all the names of those interested to administration, and administration will make that decision and let me know who is where. So I will give them the names and tell the administration, I need 3 dads and 4 moms. Here's the ones that said they'd like to go.
Shouldn't we add to that a little bit more though?
You can,
That's kind of
that's why I brought it to you. You
wide
can
open.
add to, we can add whatever you would like
Yeah.
so that
I would like to see,
life is smooth.
you know, because if you have parents that are participating and parents that aren't participating, that's
Yeah.
not fair.
Wouldn't,
That could be
wouldn't
part of the
the
administration.
advisor maybe say, maybe, I mean, wouldn't their advisor's input say, look, okay, these are my these ones that are interested, these are my recommendations. I mean, I think, you know, they're not etched in stone, but I mean, they're not gonna know
Right.
who has participated and helped.
Well, she keeps a track of the, at the meetings, who's attended and who
Well-
didn't. So she'll have that, she'll
Right.
have
But
that
that's-
information
That's
for
not the
them.
way it's written.
That's what I'm saying, that's not
It's
the way,
just not the way it's written.
I think that with the advisor's input or something, you know, and not locked in stone, but, you know, etched in stone, but I think the advisor's input
When-
needs to, you know.
When these things come up, I mean, not just for 8th grade, but for other class matters, that's the first person I go to,
Right.
is whoever's the class advisor, and I say, could you recommend
Right.
who's been the most helpful? It's not, and I get your point, John, I get that too.
I just don't wanna go back to last year.
No,
Yeah.
and you
And
and
I,
me
and I
both.
understand what she's trying to do, she's trying to wave her
Trying to
hands
take it
clean
off
of it,
her.
but that's not how we wanna do it.
Trying
No,
to take out the Walmart
And
conversation.
and I get that, but there's other ways to do it that we
So
can.
what if, on the bottom I had, the advisor will present all names to administration with with the advisor's recommendation to include participation.
Yeah, well, and that the
I like that.
administration makes the final decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, yeah, that sounds good.
There's always dynamics involved, and I won't go into those right now, I think everybody knows what some of those might be.
Right.
And so, I mean, we're trying to be up and up, but also leave some room to wiggle around a little bit,
Correct,
depending on who might be the best people to be around kids and who might
correct,
not.
correct, I get
And
that.
I do, just so the board knows, the first meeting that we'll have, as soon as John meets with all of the advisors and we set the fundraising calendar and make sure everybody's on the same page, the first meeting, when I give the parents the handbook, I tell all of them, when they sign it, those of you that are interested in being a chaperone, make note of it on the bottom of the page. So down underneath, they would put, I would like a chaperone. But I make it clear to them, let me know if you're interested. However, that doesn't mean everybody gets to go.
Of course not.
But that way, I have a list to build from,
Right.
so that I know, well, I've only had one dad that's interested, so, but I got 4 rooms of boys, now what am I gonna do? So I have a baseline to work from,
Right.
but there's no guarantee of who goes.
Or,
And
or this person has participated and done this and done that, but they're
Right.
certain kinda crazy.
Right, and I have
And
every
we
year
don't
when
want
I,
them to
when I
go
go and get
on the trip.
final approval from the principal, I say, like the year when you
I
went,
think
you know,
you
it was,
understand.
you know, I had,
You nailed it.
It's
true.
yes,
The other side of that, too, quite honestly, is I get their chaperones, and I really, would like to have that say. But if they were staff or someone else, we got to go by law through fingerprinting and background checks. These people do not. I can only get the input from, local authorities as to whom I may be
Right.
putting on that trip, and it does leave us a little bit open, so we wanna be very, very careful.
And sometimes you have a student going with specific needs,
Right.
and they may need a parent or a caregiver or someone specific to go with them,
Right.
and that needs to be
Absolutely.
part of that.
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, we don't wanna leave someone with the impression that they were the last one picked for the ball game. It's just that, you know, we want, at the end of the day, I think you'd all agree that the people that we have going on that trip, we wanna be 100% sure that they will look out for the interests of every child on that. And sometimes it's hard to have those conversations, but, nonetheless, we kinda have to be mindful of all the dynamics.
Yep, I support it.
Okay, sounds like those small revisions and
With those revisions, can we have a
I
approval?
make a motion that we accept the 8th grade handbook, after we do the revision, really?
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Seconded. I'm good.
Gotta be quicker.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we go back to the assistant principal job description?
Yes. Make a motion that we accept the, assistant principal's job position as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
That's quick.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, construction updates.
All right,
Exciting.
two parts. The first part is, where are we? We have just the hopper windows basically to put into the elementary school. We'll be looking at the front windows, that front section for next summer. In the, I don't know, I think we've got all the doors now. The heating system, they'll be here tomorrow, and probably after that, I'm still getting alerts on my phone. The last alert I got, 15 minutes before I got here, had to do with the fact that the hot water was at its constant level. I don't know why I got an alert, but what happened evidently with the HVA system is Portland is programming it, Bangor is picking it up, and everything for here comes out of Bangor, but when it gets to Bangor, they didn't make the changes, so all of a sudden they blew out 3 or 4 fuses. So what happened at the elementary school is they never quit, they just kept running for that.
Constant
It was
circulation.
constant circulation. We'll have that straightened out. What you've got is an entire system now that can be monitored via a cell phone, in all reality. It'll alert us anytime that there's a malfunction in the system and provide assistance in getting it fixed or repaired. Individual temperatures can be set for areas in classrooms in the building. Time for heating can be turned on, turned off, and reset if a teacher wants to come in for an hour, and it'll actually heat up for an hour and then shut right back down again. So all of that is automatic. Savings will be incredible. The lighting, Efficiency Maine came up with some more lighting, and I wasn't really ready for it, but it came all of a sudden, and so I contacted the Efficiency Maine specialist in this area and said, can you price this out for me? And the rebate, and so, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the cost for the hallways was in the neighborhood of 4?
Yeah. Yeah, as far as the rebate,
Yeah.
I think they were going to be, $16,000 worth of rebates, roughly,
Yeah.
the school. But it really is a paperwork nightmare if you go with bigger rebate than $5,000, so we looked at getting around, doing it 4 different times, about $4,000, so this is a $3,000 or $4,000 rebate, I think.
Yeah,
With the hallway, well, it was hallways, stage, boiler room.
boiler room. You can
and
actually walk
janitor's
in the boiler room and
closet,
see
IT
everything.
room. Yeah, boiler, I do have a bad
Yeah.
driver in there.
Yeah, I know, we got him today.
But yeah, so it's like
So it'll be done,
3,500.
and basically the hallways in those areas are done now, and then classroom wing, we'll do it during breaks. And basically, we're looking at about $400 local cost per time, so about $1,600 total on a pretty major update. The really good news is, I guess, over the long run, when I looked at that, it's almost a 1-year payback, basically just on the lighting itself. So,
And a lot better lighting.
and a lot better lighting. I mean, just looking down those hallways gives you a pretty good idea of what.
Less
Oh,
than
yeah,
half,
it's
less
nice.
than half the power.
Yeah.
So we're really happy about that. Here at the high school, engineering and studies have been going on, test boring has been done. I got the test boring reports today, they all look really good. They, way back as long as a month ago, they began to, Dickerson today contacted contractors that they expected to get to bid the projects. The actual bid process, I understood, was to go out in mid-September with a drop dead date at the end of September 30th, with actually awarding the bids. They're hoping to be in the ground out here in October, that quick. So we'll start to see construction. The roof at the elementary school is 99% complete. The only money I'm holding at this point in time is payment that's sitting ready to go, and about $22,000 in holdback, on the percentage holdback. The only thing left to do is a gutter system and an inspection to make sure that everything is up to complete code. A lot of work was done inside that attic this summer, a lot of work. Craig, you wanna comment on the temperature in the attic when they were doing the work?
There was 3 guys and they worked for King Construction, but, I would have to guess that they lugged between 2x8s, 2x4s, 8-footers, they probably lugged 300 up there. In the attic during the hottest of weather, and then not kind of the small squares to brace up the trusses on the end. Those guys went in there and they worked there 40 hours, they got there in the heat, when it got too hot, they'd be outside cutting, but,
Yeah.
I guarantee you that won't find any problems with structural
No.
attic over there.
Structural is braced, incredibly, actually, I think in some places overdone, but that's good. So I'm very, very happy with that. Roof really looks good. We had a few small leaks during the construction process. That's all, we haven't had any through the rain here, so I think we're pretty good. And like I said, basically the last piece that they've got to do, they did clean up today and move the equipment off. They've got the gutter system across the front to install, so that'll
They're
be
gonna
done.
do that on Saturday.
They're gonna
they
do it
said.
on Saturday,
Yeah.
and it'll be a seamless gutter system. What else did we do? What am I missing, Craig?
Intercom system over there.
Okay, intercom
Speakers
systems
in the gym
and
are not in
speakers.
yet, but,
Yeah.
I think most of the other speakers are, I don't know if all the hallway speakers are in yet or not, I'm not sure.
No, they're not all in. And the